It's now time for our weekly arts and culture. Joining us in the studio is our culture correspondent, Song Yoo-jin. Good to see you, Yoo-jin.
Good to see you, Jung-min.
So what do you have for us today?
Well, Jung-min, this week I want to start off by asking you a question. Do you know how many official languages Korea has?
So there's the Korean language that we are familiar with, but I know it's not the answer you want. You might seem to suggest that there might be more.
Well, actually there are, and I personally didn't know about this until this week while I was covering the story, but it seems that Korea happens to have two official languages. One is Korean and the other is Korean Sign Language that's mostly used by deaf people or people who have difficulties in hearing. And the reason why I brought up this topic is because today is actually the third Korean Sign Language Day, and Korea has been celebrating this since 2021, 5 years after when the Korean government recognized it as an official language, enacting the Korean Sign Language Act. So for this week, I decided to take a look at what Korean Sign Language is and whether South Korea is catering to the needs of its more than 400,000 hearing-impaired citizens. Ji-hae-won communicates with the world through her hands. Born with a hearing impairment, her mother tongue is sign language. The first records of the Korean Sign Language date back to the 18th century. But it was only 2016 when the government first recognized it as an official language.
인터뷰하거나 다양한 사람이 언어가 다를 때 어떻게 하죠? 통역사 부르죠. 네, 그거 같은 경우예요. 수어 통역사가 그럴 때 청인 음성 언어를 사용하고 우리는 수어를 사용하기 때문에 시각 언어를 사용하기 때문에 언어가 달라요. 그래서 의사통역이 어렵기 때문에 통역사가 그 중간에서 의사소통을 원활하기 위해서 하죠. 그게
Sign language interpreters bring together those with and without hearing difficulties. Until a few years ago, it was hard to spot them. But COVID-19 has had an impact. For the first time, sign language interpreters stood next to presenters at daily COVID-19 briefings. As with people wearing masks, lip reading is not an option.
Now, some tell me it's awkward to see government briefings without sign language interpreters. I'm now seeing more movies and dramas that provide sign language interpretation.
And there are those who are working to further expand sign language availability. More sign language kiosks are being installed at district offices and hospitals. Some teach basic sign language. Others can be seen at plays and musicals.
In the past, some artists thought sign language interpretation stole the focus away from their work, but they were mesmerized after seeing songs and lines being expressed by hand and facial expressions.
But still, there's a long way to go. Society is still centered around the majority, those who can hear.
통역 서비스는 굉장히 양적으로는 많으나 질적으로는 글쎄요, 하나가 차이다라고 이렇게. 한국에 영상 자료가 전혀 없는 거예요, 성도서가. 대부분 그냥 일반 문서로 되어 있는 책이 많고, 그래서 실질적으로 농인들이 사용하는 그런 문화, 어떤 그냥 심리적인 것 이런 것들이 다.
The problem is that sign language is not part of Korea's school curriculum, and there are only 4 sign language institutes in the country.
저는 전국 학교에 모두 수어 과목을, 교과목을 개설해서 그걸 학생들을 가르치면 좋을 것 같아요. 꼭 가르치면 좋을 것 같습니다. 거의 수어, 한국어 두 가지가 있기 때문에 수어를 꼭 배워서 학생들이 알아두면 좋을 것 같습니다. 그리고 농인들을 만났을 때도 자연스럽게 대화할 수 있고 그런 언어적 환경이 조성되어야 한다고 생각합니다.
언어만 배워보더라도 이게 이미 그 영향은 파급력은 굉장하다고 생각합니다. 그래서 누구나 같이 누릴 수 있는 언어의 권리를 같이 다 누구나 같이 누릴 수 있는 그런 소통의 공간이 되어야 됩니다. 수어의 날만 있기 때문에 그날을 기념하는 것이.
So Yoo-jin, I see sign language has become more available when compared to the past, but also there is still room for improvement. So are there any efforts being made?
Well, you're definitely right, Jung-min. So first of all, the government is trying to raise the overall awareness of Korean Sign Language and how it's actually the official language of Korea. And actually on Friday, which is today, the ceremony to congratulate and mark the Korean Sign Language Day took place. It was hosted by the Culture Ministry. And also to talk about other efforts, last December, the Korea Communications Commission decided to increase the number of TV programs that provide real-time sign language interpretation. The quota used to be 5% of all programs, but has now gone up to 7%. So hopefully we'll be seeing more meaningful changes in the future.
All right, Yoo-jin, thanks for your great report. See you next week.
Thank you.